Good evening, everyone, and welcome everyone at Twitch. This is week 6 of the NUEL PUBG Winter Series. My name is Osomar, and joining me in the commentary booth this week is Crumsy. Crumsy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good, Osama. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to 3 rounds of exciting action this week, and it's week 6 in our Winter Series. So this is the last chance for teams to get into this top 16 bracket before the playoffs begin next week.
Now, to have a quick reminder for the chat right here tonight, the top contenders this week, and currently in first place is Kill Legends. Second place, we've got Pro Players, by the way. And third place, we've got Swansea Storm Red, who have been having quite a few good games recently with a lot of kills. And we've been talking a little bit about this, Osomar, recently over the past couple of games. The importance of the kills that these teams are getting, how it's simply pushing them on top of the placement compared to the others. And so I'm excited to see today how the teams are going to be adapting to this new placement for week 6.
Certainly so. So we're going to be sticking to our usual 3 of Engrowl, Miramar, and Engrowl again. Of course, as mentioning the kills, is 16 points per confirmed kill. So if 10 kills, like as we were seeing last week, especially with Swansea Storm Red, Tomical was going off with that AWM. He's getting kill after kill after kill. Stacking up just 10 kills alone is getting you like 160 points on top of the potential 400 points win. So that's a huge gap, or huge narrow gap in the margin you could change.
It can simply make the difference between getting a first place and second place. Because even if you get first place with only a couple of kills, if the second team has been aggressive the whole game, push through, clean teams out, and they have 20 kills, they're going to be catching you up in placement. So I think it really comes down to how you want to play this, and whether you have faith in your own teammates to be aggressive, to get these kills, and to then bring you with these extra points on the leaderboard.
Certainly so. So we're just waiting on all of our players to load into the round 1 matchup for today. So you do see a couple of fights going on between Deathblade. Go. 10 seconds remaining for the match will get underway. I think we do have a northeast circle or line going in, so plenty of opportunities for players to drop to their favored positions. Of course, week 6 as well, so we should sort of have an idea of where people are going to drop. Teams should have a relatively good idea of their home or destinations, Rumsey.
Yeah, so we were talking about this in last week's games, where the teams they have their favorite positions, and so late into a series, the players kind of have their zone selected and they're not contested anymore because they know that Team 6 is heading there, Team 7 is heading there, and things like that. And so now simply it's down to them to be able to make the placement around these zones that they're dropping to.
Of course, the people are going to be dropping out the plane. So for people who are potentially here for the first time or watching us, so the server is 16 up to 16 teams. 4 players will be assembled on each team. Red zone's off, and of course we do have a little bit of bonuses going in. So we put 1.3 on the sniper, 1.3 on the DMR, and 1.5 on the ARs. We don't really want to see too many people picking up shotguns constantly all the time. So we do like to up the antes a little. So the drops come in, and with only 44 players on the map, it's actually going to be very spread out. So it's going to could be quite a while before we actually get any engagements coming in.
We're actually going to see 8 out of these 11 teams land on the left side of the plane, meaning that the team landing Yasnaya and Milta are very, very sort of in peace here. They can loot, they have time. If the zone does end up popping on the east side, which it just did, these teams are now in a very, very good position. And it's going to be down to all these teams on the left side fighting in Zarki, Giorgio Paul, even maybe Poshinki. They're going to be contesting these roads back down into the zone. And it's going to be dangerous for all these teams now coming back in now that this first zone has popped onto the map.
Certainly so. And with 44 players, you're going to see teams already prioritizing some vehicles. As we will be starting to jump on board with players. Already loaded up the shotgun. That's going to be Yui. As we will be getting into this map slowly.
It's PUBG. You slowly give it time. It'll come. The players are fine on their end, but unfortunately, you know, as the new thing that's come in at the moment, hashtag fix PUBG. And we're seeing actually Yuki pick up a crossbow. Now, I believe there's a funny bet going on right now between these teams with the crossbow. Osama, I'm not sure if you've heard, but Team 6, Swansea Storm Red, I believe that if Atomical, their team leader, gets killed by a crossbow, they have agreed to disband their team. What do you think of something like that going on between the teams of this series?
I think it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of like laughter overall, but it could be quite serious, or it could even end someone's career. If you're killed by a crossbow, I sort of feel bad for you in a way. As we can see, Team 10 and Team 7 sort of near, quite close to each other right now, as we are on board with Deathblade. He has got the M16 available to him. No scopes, just picked up the bandages so far. Struggling to get through this little window, and finally does manage to do so. But it's early days for all these teams. So they're going to try and collect as much loot as possible. We do know where the first circle is, but with only 44 players in the game, there's going to be certainly tons of vehicles available.
I think that's something dangerous about landing here in this kind of farm area on Erangel is that usually there's not a lot of loot. It's houses that are quite spread up. And when you land there uncontested, it's no problem for you. You split your team, one goes to each mini compound. But two teams have the same idea this game. So we have Team 10 holding two buildings. And I don't think they've actually been able to push through and get more loot. So they've only had the loot from these two buildings. And now they have to hold because they know Team 7 is here contesting them, and they don't really have any info to go off of. So both these teams have decided to split into a 2-2 formation, and I think now is going to be the time for these teams to join back. And we see Team 7 kind of like trying to get out of there, because what we talked about, the points that come from the placement and the kills, fighting this early in the game with this little loot perhaps does not put you at such an advantageous position. And so leave Team 10 alone, let them struggle thinking you're still there. Go loot in another compound and come back later on with your scopes, with your heals, with your Car 98, and then take them down later on into the match.
Certainly so. So we see Deathblade will have the motorcycle, as he's going to be traveling down to the south end side of the map, as the plane will be coming in. We should be able to see our first drop potentially coming in, as we're going to have a flyby of the whole map. And now, as you see, the other two players from Team 7 going to be holding these like two big barn areas. I like to drop down here quite early. As you do get quite a good array of buildings towards the south side and towards the coast.
So the drop has actually fallen right on the right of prison. Now, Team 21 surely have seen this fall down, and now it's going to be down to them whether they decide to push for it. Now it's going to be completely uncontested. So it's going to be whether they decide that it is worth to be pushing, but it is a risk. But we've been talking about this, how drops are such high risk, high reward in the game, seeing that now with the recent updates in PUBG, drops equip you with full level 3 gear, usually a scope, definitely a gun, as well as sometimes an extra adrenaline syringe, an extra med kit, and that can make such the difference in the game. Now that you don't find these level 3 helmets lying around, you, Somar, personally, do you like pushing for drops, or are you more of the safe kind that lurks around the map?
I think for early game, I like to push for drops. I think that they draw too much attention when you get towards the mid and late game. With people, when they got like 4x scopes, 8x scopes, they're going to be using the crate as almost a distraction. So I would like to see Team 21 go for the crate. It did have an M249 available in it, and as you were talking about, all level 3 armor. I think it also had a med kit, and it also had an AR silencer as well. So that could be coming in handy for people later on in the map. So as we are on board with Jester, he has a AK-47. He has got a holo on him as well. Just picking up a couple of meds, but they got free range in here. No one's even going to be challenging them, so they should be able to pick up quite a lot of loot in this military base.
Now, the only danger with them being in a military base, which is a risk you kind of have to take, is it's very hard to get out of military base. You have 3 options. One of them being bridges, one of them being swimming, and the other being water. The other being the boats. And right now, the zone, we know it's not in military base. Now, this team, they do not necessarily know whether there is a team Milta that is going to be holding the bridges, or a team on the west side of the map that is going to be holding the other bridge. So they're going to have to look at the time that's left before the zone reaches its endpoint and make the decision on how they're going to be crossing this river that is in outside military base, for them to be able to get into zones safely. Now, we know it's not contested, but they don't. So now it's how are they going to be able to cross this safely and securely?
Well, as we were talking about earlier, it looks like they have decided to go from this crate, and they picked almost everything up. The suppressor and a level 3 military vest, as but has been picked up, swapped out the level 2, and it will be driving away, probably potentially towards Mansion, as you've got already one player sitting in a prison. So Team 21 deciding to do some aerobatic skills with the car itself, but this is only phase 1. The blue zone will slowly come in. They've got 5 minutes available before the second loop or second phase starts to push players towards each other and might get some more, hopefully, some action.
They're dangerous, these cars, aren't they? You see
They're
them
very dangerous.
almost rolling over, and you're starting to remember the games that you played where you ended up rolling over, your car exploded, and that was it for you. And every time you see the player slightly getting off the wheels, you're thinking, oh no, if this happens to him today, it will be such a shame, such a bad way to start off in these week 6 games today. And so hopefully the players will be driving with caution during this week 6.
Hopefully so. 3 minutes remaining now in phase 1 of the circle itself, as we are on board with Splodge. 63 has got the 6x scope on a Mini 14 and some utility available to him. 2 nades, smokes, molotovs, some bandages, and the first aid kit. So plenty of ammunition as well available for him. I think it's difficult as well, being a team in this sort of scenario. You've got 44 players, so you sort of second guess yourself on where to go. If you've got a full lobby, you sort of know where people are going to set or go. But we're only just under a half full lobby. Do you think that maybe second guesses you into thinking, oh, maybe a team's going to be in Milta, or someone's going to be like camping the bridge, or not?
I think in a situation like this, there's only that many places that teams can be, as you said, because there's so many players. So it could lead them to second guessing themselves. But I think at the same time, there are so many positions to camp to lay camp out in Erangel with the new update of all these new little mini compounds that have been added to the map, that I would almost not be worried until these teams, all right, get one car each, drive out, send a scout earlier, get him to pass, see if he gets shots at. If he doesn't, then take out the compound, take your time, because as you said, it could be dangerous. These teams could be in these houses, camped out on the side, all sneaky beaky like. So take your time, engage the compound, try take control, and then once you know that it's clear, hold it until the next zone pops, and then it's time to make a new decision on how you're going to make that second move.
Where we are on board with Epoch, as I like to call him. This is actually Keely Legends. This is your number 1 team currently in the standings after 5 weeks of play. Now, just holding the compound for now. Minute remaining on the first zone. The teams are just going to be more or less just slowly creeping into the zone. Of course, first blue zone doesn't really tackle you too much, like bandages of maybe a Red Bull or a painkiller that can more or less save you in the first zone.
It's a niche at best. A niche at best. This first
It's an
zone.
itch at best.
It's simply, it does so little damage that you see a lot of professional teams in PUBG Pro League that just decide to wait so long outside this blue zone to get all these extra pieces of loot that they might find, an extra scope for a player, an extra med kit, an extra set of painkillers, or even sometimes an extra level 3 backpack, which allows them to carry more grenades, which later on in the game could make the complete difference between them coming in 5th place or 1st place. But I think with the lobby today, being with this many players, it's a pretty safe bet for players to decide to push in and take control early. Because as you said, with only 44 players on the map today, it's going to be very difficult to be able to kind of assume where the players are going to be hiding. So they're going to have to make these movements early, because if they hesitate for too long, then it's simply going to be too hard for them to be pushing in too late into the round.
Well, we do see the second red crate fall, and it's just gonna be outside farm. It's gonna have another M249. I think it's quite rare to see 2 like major weapons dropping in the same way. So 2 M249s now are available for these teams to pick up. I do believe Team 21 did manage to rescue the first one, and of course all the perks of having level 3 armor, helmet, and backpack. Team Niels. Will we just take in a quick Red Bull? And he's going to be driving away on the motorcycle. Going to be pushing towards the blue zone as phase 2 has decided to come in. So everyone will now have to start rotating into the next zone. As we do admire his motorbike skills. As I say that, he does decide to tip the motorbike. Maybe the caster's curse is coming to play there. But not really too much damage.
It scares me. Every time my heart skips a beat, I see the player turning around, and you never know what's going to happen with these vehicles in PUBG. For all you know, you could be slowly riding down, there's a rock you didn't see, and next thing you know, that's the game for you done. So I think it's really dangerous to be riding around like that, not really paying too much attention to what's going on. So it's good for them to take these bikes slowly. Now we're seeing a very interesting thing going on here. We've got a team, I believe, is there a team trying to engage this building?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to see our first kill coming in from Greedy here onto Dan Bridges. He's going to get the instant confirm. That's an extra 16 points for his team. And he's going to be left with so little health today. Thankfully, the rest of his team is here to be watching over him. Let him get that med kit while the rest of the team outside are deciding how they're going to get the second phase of aggression onto this building.
As I said, Chazmaster will manage to knock down Greeny. Not confirmed the kill though yet. So hopefully teammates will be able to get the rescue out there. There is 3 players sitting outside as the nade will be thrown in. We see it prevail. Greeny's trying to get up the stairs. Doesn't manage to get tagged by this. As we see all 4 players from Team 10, they will be sitting on the 3rd story of this building. They're almost essentially trapped. Chazmaster sitting up top then. Team 21 as well were the team who did manage to rescue that M249 in the early game.
Now, about 10 seconds ago, you would have asked me, who was at the advantageous position here? Who had the upper hand? I would have said Team 10, the pink team. However, now they've all been forced up to the top floor, and all of Team 21 are watching the exits. So now there's absolutely nothing they can do. So if Team 21 has grenades, they're going to be pushing them out, taking them out slowly, forcing them to use up all their heals. And eventually, with the zone going to be, with the next zone coming in just a minute and 40 seconds, they're going to have to push out. And Team 21 are holding this completely with Chazmaster in the stairs. Now, the only dangerous thing here is Chazmaster. If he gets put down, there is no way his teammates will be able to save him. And if Chazmaster gets taken down, suddenly Team 10 are back with the complete advantage in being in a 4-on-2 situation, holding down this house in this tiny compound on the eastern side of the map.
Well, just over a minute remaining right now. I see Chaz he's just going to be holding the angle, seeing if anyone will decide to peek. While his 2 teammates are watching the windows quite cautiously. Team 10 are in a bit of a pickle right now. Evolve, Indy and Co, Greeny. They're going to have to figure a way out of this. As it's going to also allow other teams to start to rotate. We'll see Greeny. He is just going to be holding the top of the stairs right now.
Now,
who's going to push this?
I think there is absolutely no reason for Team 21 to push. They sent a player 2 seconds ago, and we saw him get taken down instantly. And that led them to be in a 4-on-3 situation. Now, maybe they didn't know that a team was in this building. Maybe they didn't have the info yet. But now, Chaz has forced them up. He's watching the stairs. They are all in this top floor. So now it's just down to Team 10 to make the move because they are the ones who are stuck. Team 21 can adapt their positions, take new positions outside, surprise them when they're going to be coming out. But Team 10 have absolutely no surprise factor that they can be bringing in here. And so I think it's going to be an interesting fight to see develop over the next couple of minutes. Now, I'm hoping to see Team 21 with more grenades here. I think maybe they didn't pick up enough in mill to power because a simple grenade here, if they are timed right, could take down the whole of Team 10 camping up here in this house. But Chaz is just not moving, holding the angle. He is not making a single step, so they do not have the info he's here. And we're actually going to be seeing the first player being taken down here. He's going to be rezzed up, no problem. But this is actually going to be the call for Chaz to push in. And he's going to be punished straight away by Greeny.
Yeah, Bucko gets knocked down, but Greeny was there at the door. And Chaz, as you were talking about earlier, there's no chance for his teammates to rescue him. So already 2 players lost on the side of Team 21. Somewhat and Lumnia are going to be the ones remaining. As Epoch actually decides to fall. Gets... interesting. But anyway, back to Team 21, we do see the Lumnia and Somewhat. They do have an 8 times SKS and a 4 times M16 available to them. But the zone has favored them as well, so they are still in the zone, so they can still hold out here, Team 10. They haven't really got to push out just yet, but they should be able to potentially win this with it being a 4-on-2.
I think this might have been a communication issue from Team 21 because I'm assuming what happened here is they got a knock, and Chazmaster was instantly saying, "Okay, I'm going to be pushing up now. We're on a 2-on-3. They're not going to expect me to be here. I'm going to push up, confirm the knock, kill another one. We're going to take this fight." Unfortunately, even if he does take out another player, if he gets then revenge killed, there's nothing he can do. So I think this was bad team calling from Team 21, and they've just given a huge advantage that they had over this poor Team 10 stuck in the top of this building. They've given the advantage back, and now Team 10, who are, I'm just trying to spot them on the map here. I actually not exactly sure where they are, but I don't think they have to move just yet. And so Team 21, it's now depending on them whether they want to still commit to holding out for Team 10, or if they're just going to say, okay, no, we've lost 2 players. It's time to now leave and pick up another compound somewhere else and hold it from there.
Yeah, so we'll come back to them in a bit. In the meantime, Team 14 and Team 2 are currently in engagement right now as Boggy is going to manage to get one knockdown with this the M24. It's a stare-down match as his teammates will start to rally up towards him. Team 10 and Team 21 still are rallying up. As we do see one player knocked down in the bottom. I think that was Snipe the Wookiee has unfortunately fallen. As somewhat will actually manage to knock down another player for Team 10. But these are just knocks. They're not confirmed kills. They're not getting these points. Actually, so every time they get the knock, they're just going to constantly be reviving. It might not favor them in the late game, especially going down 2 or 3 times already, but it's not confirmed kills. As we see, Atomical, he's managed to pick up his first frag of the day. Magical Fart has fallen, and that's 16 points, adding to Swansea Storm's Reds 4 points total.
Now, you talk about all these teams getting these knocks and not being able to confirm them. I believe that the most important rule in PUBG, the rule number 1 that every single pro player will tell you, playing as a team in PUBG, your number 1 goal is that at any point in time, if you happen to be in a situation where you get knocked, you are in a position of cover where a teammate can smoke and resurrect you. And I think that is something that can simply give a massive advantage, because playing it as a 2-2 split, if one of you gets knocked, boom, a smoke goes down, you get res, and you don't give these points away. Maybe you lose your helmet, maybe you lose a couple of heals, but at least you're safe. At least you have that extra player to be pushing out later into the round. Team 10, though, they're finally deciding to make a move. They're finally coming down with these 2 Team 21 players. They're going to have to do something godly here to survive. They're actually going to, someone's going to be taking 1 down, getting that extra 16 points. And now it's his turn to be in the building. Oh, some more. It's his turn to be pushing in. And he's going to get taken down by Greeny, who I believe has taken all 3 of the dead team members in Team 21 so far.
Well, just 1 man remaining. That's going to be Lumina. He's the one with the M249 rescued from earlier. He has got 1 grenade though. This is what I was quite shocked about. They didn't throw the grenade when they knew all 4 players were in the 3rd story of the building. But Team 10 do lose 1 player on their side, and Lumia is actually, I think he's going to decide he's had enough of this. He's going to try and rally away. As Greeny and Indy will get confirmed kills. Oh no, actually that's Team 11 coming in. They've spotted them from another different angle. What's going on?
I think it's at this point where the teams are starting to build their little camps outside the trees instead of pushing into compounds. It's too late into the round now to be holding compounds, because you never know, as you said earlier, whether there could be a team in there. And seeing how Team 21 pushed into the compound of Team 10, there's only 1 member of them left now. So the players are realizing, okay, we got to build our little camps in the forest, and Team 11 have kind of a free shot right here on Team 14, as they're going to be trying to hopefully find cover back in Team 10, but they're getting shot by Team 3, Team 11, Team 10 are right next to them. I don't think they have a visual just yet, but this could get very, very, very dangerous for Team 14 as they're trying to pass their way through smokes and things to get to the compound to survive here.
Yeah, so staying on board with Storm Red right now. As we're on board with Vanilla. He did manage to tag 1 player. I don't think he managed to confirm the kill, but as we can see on the mini-map, they're sort of stuck in the middle between 3 different teams right now. Team 14 will be taking these painkillers, and Team 10 have gone back to this building again. It seems like they just can't get out of it. As soon as they leave, they get the kills, but then they're forced to almost be pushed back into the same building again. They've almost been in this for about 10 to 15 minutes now. So, patience play from then. As we are on board with Team 3, that's going to be Yugi, 4x scope on the Mini 14, couple grenades, and lots of first aid kits available to him. Occupying, and they're in a very strong position right now in the houses, right in the middle of the circle at this point.
Yeah, they're in a very, very strong position. The only problem with that position is, in my opinion, it also has a very, very big target on its back. And so all these teams are seeing this compound right there, right in the middle of the zone, and thinking, okay, this would be the perfect position. We should try push this building. And so now you have Team 6 that's going to be pushing onto Team 3, and perhaps even Team 11 that have been holding that position for quite a long time. Atomical, a very, very strong player here today, going to be throwing a perfect grenade, in my opinion, that might be finishing off. The players know they are going to be able to get the res off. Now, Atomical and his teammates are going to be playing very, very aggressive, but they have the power. But Angelica is going to be taken down by a grenade, but very, very good reflex from Atomical here, bringing out the smoke, protects his teammate. Because, you know, in a situation where players are smoked off, you don't really want to be shooting through. Bullets are limited. Bullets are important currency in PUBG. And so you need to kind of play safe here, get the res off, and then they're going to be trying for a second round of aggression onto this compound with Pesheneg holding the second building in the compound held by Team 3.
Yeah, Tomical actually team naded his teammate, so he still had to pay the price there. But he is in the building now. 2 players just below him. He's got his teammates also surrounding the back, making sure people are dying in the blue zone. It is at the phase 4 now, so this will tank quite a bit as Team 11 is trying to get a couple more kills. Fatal Slug managed to take out Yates. That's going to be Team 1 struggling. And I think we've finally lost our first team.
The interesting Molotovs coming in. A smoke grenade as well maybe being thrown in. This is an interesting thing that I like to see players do. If you're pushing on to the top floor, throw a smoke down. The team are going to be confused. They don't see anything that's going on, and you might be able to sneaky get up there and maybe even just confuse them and run away. And then they're stuck wasting time in this compound, and you can then get a better position around a cliff and then be watching down on them, trying to struggle to get out. And we see Team 1 just right at the edge of the zone. They've got 7 seconds until it starts moving. Unfortunately, the last 2 players of Team 14 have the info, are going to be able to take Jester down. And now this zone is going to be pushing in, so it looks unlikely that Jester is going to be able to get resurrected by his teammates. However, if they have enough heals, they might be able to make the call. Unfortunately, that call is not going to be made. They're going to decide our team placement is more important than one member of the team, and they're going to be trying to push into the zone, grabbing that drop on the way down.
Certainly so. So now the rotation is going to start to come effect. And look where the circle is right now, Clumsy. It's such an open field. You've only got really 2 sets of small buildings or small huts available for the team. As we do see players trying to dodge the shots from Epoch. He's not going to be able to connect to any of these at the moment. Perfect dodging coming in. It's like an action movie. I think he's going to finally fall down. Topical actually is going to push. Managed to get 2 people. Team 3 going to be struggling, and look, manages to confirm the second kill as well.
A very, very lucky position that Atomical was just in there. He wasn't even paying attention, and he somehow managed to, being low health, spray down the other person as it was pushing in. So I think he kind of played his luck right there, and it's very dangerous. But they are going to be now in this sort of perfect compound that we talked about earlier. Team 3 is still there. They're contesting the other building, but all the other teams are going to be slowly pushing in, and they have perfect vision. And we see Team 14, Team 7 struggling, fighting at the edge. Going to be taken down by Team 11 as well. Now, Team 11 are holding out all this area as all the teams are pushing in. They're just taking them down one by one, and they only have one last player to find now, and he's going to get taken down by the zone, actually. So that's one less point that he gives to his opponents. So he knows he's not going to make it anywhere. Dies to the zone, and at least that's 16 points that another team will not be winning today.
Certainly so. So on board Team 25, next circle is going to be coming in, and it's actually going to favour Team 25, who are sitting on top of the hill right now with these like the M24s or sniper rifles. So all the teams are now going to have to run towards them, as we are on board with Team 6. Atomical and crew are still trying to find these last 2 players. They surely should hear this vehicle coming in, and they're going to catch him right there. First frag is going to come in, maybe the second, and it is confirmed kill. Team 3 are finally eliminated. Storm Red continue their rampage, but look at the rotations coming in. Only 1 building is actually available in the next circle, and Team 11 already made their way there.
I almost want to say that the building is actually not the best position to be in right now, because the building is at the lowest point in this zone. So I think there is actually so many better positions that you can be in, because when this next zone is going to pop, if it's going to be a northern side team, is this team 8? Yeah, team 11 here in this compound. They're going to be struggling to get out because all the way around them is just an open field. And so Team 25, in my opinion, are the winning position here, as they've got open field vision on the whole rest of the map. And it's now time to see how Team 6 are going to be infiltrating themselves into this last little zone that we have here. Oh, and did we see Team 25 up there? It looks like we have yes, a last member coming in from Team 25. That's right.
So we have 3 teams available right now. Team 6 is going to be Swansea Storm Red, and Team 11 is Keeley Legends. So 2 of our top 3 sides currently in the league table competing for the extra points. As Vanilla is going to kill a topical. That's going to be a confirmed kill. Make that 2 kills. And it's all down to 1 player. He's being tagged down. And I think Team 6, that could be the end of your run. Smokes are being pushed out as Vanilla actually is going to get tagged down, though. But Team 25 are in the favored position. Smokes popped and bandages available. These smokes aren't going to last forever, my friend.
I think Pecheneg's only hope right here is that Team 25 start aggressing Team 11, which would give him the option to kind of sneak away to the side, to this left side of the zone that is actually completely uncontested, this little hill around the road. And this would give him the perfect opportunity. Now, I think Team 25 know that there's a player that is not part of the team's left in the southern side of this new circle. So he's going to be trying to... one of their players is probably being told this info, and he's watching this area here. Connor Sud going to try to take a couple of car shots. He's not going to be able to take anything here. They do have a nice wall for cover down in this little compound. Pecheneg is looking very, very bad right now. Now, however, this is a guy who we have seen in week 4, I believe, clutch a win 1 versus 9 players. So he's good. He can do these kind of clutch situations. He wins these. So it's time to see how he deals with this situation with these 2 teams in front of him. And that, as I say, that is the end for Pecheneg. The end for Team 6 here, which leaves our 2 last teams, Team 11 and Team 25, pushing for this winner chicken dinner tonight.
Yeah. Perfect grenade from esports. He's going to try and grab another. He doesn't really have too much ammo available to him, and the team is going to be just bandaging up. And look at the spread coming in from Team 25. They're trying to cover all angles right now. It's a pretty risky, though, strategy. Get knocked down, and you're pretty much confirming a kill for the other side. 30 seconds remaining. Team 11, they still have this compound available to him, as the circle is going to be forcing Team 25 slowly down this hill. Gonna make it pretty hard. As you see, Magical Fart is going to be starting to flank around the back. See if he can catch any players out. He still has this SKS with the 6x scope available to him, but no one is showing from the side of Team 11.
You were mentioning how it's a bit risky here, Team 25 spreading out so much. I think this might actually lead them to be at a slighter advantage. Maybe Team 11 don't expect this here from Team 25 to be spreading out so much. And Magical Farts is going to be spotting their first player, who effectively did not know that the player was so far off. And so now they have the info. They know that they're splitting around. So I was talking about how Team 11 were, in my opinion, in the worst position here. I think this might have just changed. With this new zone, they are in a perfect situation to be watching over this hill as Team 25 are forced to be pushing in. Now, if in the next circle, in 55 seconds, Team 11 are forced to go out of their compound, I think this is going to be the end for Team 11. However, if Team 25 are forced to move, this is going to be a very, very interesting team fight that is going to lead to one team being victorious in the first game of this week 7 of the Winter Series.
Certainly. So we are on board with Young. He's just going to be popping a couple of shots, being able to connect with anyone as team. It's a 4-on-3 right now for Team 21. I think one player is heavily tagged though in the back. Reloading. Only got the UMP though. This could be actually a bit of a disaster, as Dplex is going to be fine. As Connor finds the first frag, finally, Potch is going to fall. Is this the time to push though, Crumsy?
I'm not sure. You know, I think they know that the players are playing close to each other in this little compound, and they are in a safe position to be able to get the res off. So I think Team 25 played this well enough to be slowly. And as I say that, the new zone comes up. And now Team 25 is in a perfect position where all they have to do is rotate to the northwest side of the zone, slowly climb up, and now they're holding this position where they don't have to be aggressive. They should not be making mistakes here. Let Team 11 slowly push out of their compound and punish them as they're doing so. Team 25, Young Sna here from Team 25 and Magical Farts almost seem to be baiting them with smokes to say, okay, here are the smokes for you to come out, with the rest of their players actually watching over this zone. So I'm not sure exactly what their plan is here, but it's going to be interesting to see how Team 11 react to it.
Well, let's find out right now as Niels is going to be on the bike. He's actually taken quite a big risk here, but it's paid off for him. Only the smallest bit of health remaining. He only has one bandage as well, so he can't even heal. But he has got top of the hill available to him, and he might be able to catch one out. That's going to be Young in a fight, and he's going to manage to win it. He should be able to potentially confirm this kill, which he does. Neil finds the first frag and looking for the second, but no, their health bar is too much, and Dplex is going to take out Niels. Does manage to get almost a 1-for-1 trade. How does I say that? Epoch is actually going to be pushing up, and suddenly that's 2 players down. Team 25 are left in a 1 versus 2. It's Magical Farts on his own with the SKS.
And right in the middle of this zone, this last player from Team 11. And that is actually going to be the winner chicken dinner from Epoch, just flanking in and taking out every single member from Team 25, finishing a great game from this first game of the Week 6 series. Now, I think a quick thing to note here at the end is that you saw how Niels pushed up. He had no heals. So I think he was almost, when there is a sacrifice, bait for Team 11, which allowed the rest of his team to then push up while Team 25 were focused on taking Niels down. I think that was very, very, very well played by this team. And they ended up managing to push up this hill and confirm the kills, giving them the first place here with a fair amount of kills on the scoreboard.
Yeah, so Key Legends showing their stuff right now, showing why they're the #1 ranked team right now in the PUBG Winter Series. 10 kills for them, so 400 points going towards them, plus their kills. So a healthy dose of points available to him. But guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back very shortly with game number 2 in the NUEL PUBG Winter Series. Don't go anywhere.